Reps push for stronger support for the girl child. House condemns US bill on Nigeria's religious freedom. And President Tinubu seeks House approval for new $2.34 billion loan and $500 million sukuk. Hello and welcome to You and Your Reps. I am Victor Azo. The House is back from its annual recess, and so is the business of representation. From new loan requests and fresh resolutions to local security concerns and unfinished projects, lawmakers are wasting no time getting back to work. Let's begin by telling you that as the world marks the International Day of the Girl Child, Nigeria's lawmakers are calling for more than just celebration. They want action. The House of Representatives is urging ministries and agencies to prioritize girls' education and skills development to secure a better future for the next generation.
Yes, please.
Lawmakers acknowledge that girls often bear the brunt of armed conflict and public health emergencies, but have remained undaunted despite their challenges, especially in crisis-affected communities. They call for greater commitment to securing and empowering the girl child in Nigeria.
We urge security agencies and relevant stakeholders to implement measures to protect girls from violence and exploitation during crisis. Urge the Ministry of Women Affairs to create safe spaces, providing mental health support to girls to help them cope with trauma.
In other resolutions, the House called for a probe of all funds allocated to implement the Electricity Power Sector Reform Program from 2007 to 2024, while also faulting the financial books of the National Examination Council.
The House resolved to conduct an investigation into the activity of transmission companies, all these costs, their remittances, the tariff regime, and to ascertain the effectiveness or otherwise of the privatized power sector.
The House is worried that NECO is allegedly implementing its vehement without the required legislative approval. If this is so, it is a flagrant violation of our Constitution and inherent powers of this Honorable House.
The bill seeking the creation of Ibadan State scaled second reading, alongside the bill seeking establishment of the National Institute for Technical and Vocational Education, Kankara, Katsina State.
When you talk about population in Ibadan alone today, Mr. Speaker, we have about 6 million plus living in Ibadan. Most people live in Ibadan and work in Lagos every day. Ibadan deserve their own state.
Meanwhile, Adeshola Elegbeji has been sworn in as member of the House to represent Ikene Shagamu Remo North, Federal Constituency of Ogun State, to fill the vacuum left by late Deputy Majority Whip of the House, Adewumi Ononuga.
Nigeria's House of Representatives has reacted strongly to a proposed law in the United States Senate, the Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act 2025. Lawmakers describe it as an attempt to meddle in the country's internal affairs under the guise of human rights protection.
The House unanimously adopted a motion of urgent national importance, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and other lawmakers, taking a swipe at the Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act 2025, sponsored by Senator Ted Cruz in the American Senate, which seeks to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern and suggests religious coloration to security challenges in the country. Lawmakers called for coordinated diplomatic and domestic response against the American bill.
The House resolves to reject outrightly narratives that frame Nigerian security crisis as a singularly religious conflict or a state-sponsored persecution, and reaffirms Nigeria's constitutional protections, freedom of religion and belief.
The main problem here comes from one, those who deliberately demarcate Nigeria outside the country, including Nigerians.
This motion is referred to the Committees on Foreign Affairs, National Security and Intelligence, Human Rights for further legislative action.
In other resolutions, lawmakers lamented the deplorable state of the Kaba-Egbe Road in Kogi State, saying it is posing security threats and environmental hazards to road users.
Urge the Federal Ministry of Works to include the construction of Kaba to Egbe Road in the 2026 budget estimate and concession the road after construction to a competent private company to generate money from articulated vehicles for maintaining the road.
The Nigeria Institute of Transport Technology was advised to complete one of its training centers that has been abandoned.
All of which are currently operational, with the exception of that of Delta in a frontal center, Uwele North, Uwele South to do federal constituency. To urge the Nigeria Institute of Transport Technology, NITT, to complete the construction and equip the frontal center for operational activities and put it into use.
Bills that scale second reading include
a bill for an act to alter the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to create additional local government areas in Gombe State and for related matters.
During plenary, the House adopted a motion by Representative Francis Waive calling for the speedy completion of the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Center at Efuruto in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State. You and your reps later caught up with the member for more on the motion.
This center owned by NITT, Nigerian Institute for Transport Technology, there are 6 of them across the country in each of these geopolitical zones. Only the one in the south-south has not been completed. And the building has gone, to me, what I saw on ground is up to 70%. Already completed, all the buildings, roofed, plastered, everything. You almost complete it and then you leave it like that. You abandon it. Abandoned project in itself is something that irritates me. It's a waste of government resources. But here, the bigger problem is that the other 5 geopolitical zones are in operation and Nigerians are getting the benefit. Why shouldn't the people in the South-South also enjoy the benefit of theirs? So having laid the motion, and I thank my colleagues for passing it, we are going to follow up with the NITT to ensure that the one in the South-South is completed and our people also get the benefit.
As it sounds, it's not an iron. It's perfectly ceramic, an innovation put together to deter vandals from carrying out their nefarious activities.
I am living proof that entertainment can take you to all the incredible places to meet all the crazy creative minds. Join me for the behind-the-scenes stories and the unforgettable moments.
Sure, we're going down, but only on this escalator. At the Ministry of Interior, service is on the rise, tech-driven, people-focused. No standing still.
For accurate and up-to-date information, for insightful and real-time education and entertainment, NTA News 24 is the station of choice. And that is why our watchword is news and more news.
President Bola Tinubu has written to the House of Representatives seeking approval for fresh loans, including more than $2 billion in external borrowing and a $500 million Sukuk bond aimed at funding key infrastructure and addressing budget shortfalls.
The lawmakers are fresh from annual recess, and Speaker Abbas Tajuddin serves notice that bills on constitution review, particularly regarding security and electoral reforms, are top priority.
Our goal is to make elections less contentious and litigious, lower their cost through single-day voting, and make the process of party primaries more democratic and inclusive.
President Tinubu's requests to implement new external borrowing include 1.84 trillion naira for part financing of the 2025 budget deficit, as well as accessing aggregate external capital of $2.3 billion and a $500 million Sukuk loan.
The House of Representatives may wish to note that 2025 Appropriation Act provides for 9 trillion 276 billion 348 million 934 naira as new borrowings to finance the 2025 budget deficit.
Lawmakers expressed concern over renewed bandit attacks in parts of Niger and Kwara states.
Note the recent attack on the people of Rabah, Salka, Tungamongoro and Ibeto communities by bandit and cow rustlers.
Further note the tragic incident on Sunday, 28 September 2025 in Okiode, which were about 15 persons, including 11 forest guards, and Bale of Ogbayo, among others, were killed by armed bandits.
The House constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate multiple bank charges and deductions in the bank accounts of civil servants.
Concern over deduction of various taxes and charges from their monthly salary and earnings, especially in line with the government policies on the National Housing Funds, National Health Insurance Scheme, with little and no clarity on the utilization of such deductions, thereby raising issues of accountability and transparency.
3 new lawmakers from Edo, Jigawa, and Kaduna states were sworn in following their victories in the August by-elections.
And the member representing Ifelodun of Oyun Federal Constituency of Kwara State, Tijjani Kayode Ismail, is calling for urgent security intervention in his area. He is asking the federal government to establish a forward operating base to help stabilize communities recently displaced by bandit attacks. You and your reps caught up with him right after plenary.
It has been an issue that we've been battling with before now, but that of on 28th of last month is quite disheartening and so sad to lose about 15 vigilante and 11 forest guard and the head of a village, which is Bale of Ogbayo, a community very close to that occurred there. It was attack early morning of 28th of last month. Banditry attack. Nobody knows where they come from, and they will kidnap some family, cut away with some of their things. My prayer on the floor is there should be a swift intervention by federal government partnering with the state government to have, with the military, to have a forward base so as to have proper security in that area. As well, NEMA, urge NEMA to provide immediate and urgent relief material for the displaced persons. because a lot of my families have deserted their village. We have about almost 21 ghost community now, and namely, we have Shagbe, Babanla, Gamu, Alasuru, Ologoma, Bankoli, Olayinka, Agunji village, Okiode itself, Blabaka, and Oreke, Igbo, Oreke Isale. Numerous villages. This is one I can remember, right? Because these are my roots. I go there, I visited those places time to time because it's my constituency. It's just like my home because my people are sad. My people have been displaced from their native homes. It was overwhelming. You can see Honorable Jaha with his actions trying to. He made the commendation of moving the motion, and as well. He tried to do amendment on how to see how we can reflect same prayers we were offered for my motion in his own community too. My constituent, by God's grace, I'm assuring them because the issue of security is not something we should discuss openly on the media like this because it's just like telling a thief where you kept your belongings. So we wouldn't really want to stretch further. I wouldn't want to stretch further to open up my plans. I'll be a bit quiet on this issue because we're working underground to see how we can solve the problem. Because the most saddening thing is that some of our people, what makes it so sensitive is that some of the people in some communities are still the informant to these criminals. So, but we hope that with our own little intervention within the power bestowed on us in the chamber, in the National Assembly, we'll try our best to make our people happy and we'll make sure we get them back home. And to be sincere, a contractor called yesterday that he has been awarded a road in the same Okiode, 3-kilometer road, which they should commence any moment from now. And he said that, I said, by God's grace, that work will be done. And people will appreciate that because this is what they've been treating for, this is what they've requested from us, and we're able to lay it down. To request to appropriation granted it, and it's going to be commenced soon. The same thing, a bridge in Labaka. So my people are lovely people, and they're good people, and they understand. Then they're even ready to fight, defend themselves if we give them opportunity to do so. So we're working towards that.
It is now time for legislative terms and tools, and this week we are breaking down the similarity and differences between break and recess. What do these very common parliamentary terms mean for Nigeria's parliament, and what is the difference? Let's find out.
Most Nigerians do not understand the difference in parliament when we talk about going on a break and when we go on recess. It's important to say this because parliament worldwide go on recess once a year. Once a year. It's always at the end of a legislative session. Take the Nigerian parliament, for instance. There are 4 years that make up the life of an assembly. So you take the 10th assembly. The first year is the first session. The second year, second session. Now we have just begun the third year, which is our third session of this 10th assembly. Now, at the end of every session, the parliamentary practice is to go on a break. For a few weeks, look at what you've done and come back renewed for the next session. But every July ending usually takes place August and September. Most times the entire 2 months, August and September, is a legal thing. Even the courts, they go on recess. The lawmaking bodies all over the world go on recess, August and September. That's the annual recess. You don't take anything away from that. That's what a recess is. But a break is different. I've just given one example of a break in between sessions. There are also public holiday breaks, Ramadan, Christmas, Easter, Salah, Democracy Day. Those are normal breaks. You have to, even if you're a teacher, whatever your profession is, you go on holiday at that period. So breaks are usually short and are usually tied to occasions, holidays, whereas the recess is a once-a-year event that takes place in August and September of every year, both in the judiciary and in the legislature.
And that's you and your reps this week. The lawmakers are back, and so are we, keeping you close to the issues that matter. I am Victor Azo. Thank you for watching.